I know that I may have slammed the first season a lot, but by and large, I think the second season was a major glow up for the entry. So, at the end of the day, I think Idolmaster Shiny Colors is actually a pretty good anime. Hello everyone, welcome to the Weebinitiative. I'm your host, the Weeb. This is a show where every other week I'll be talking about anime, manga, and everything in between. This week, following our last episode, I will be talking about the second season of the Idolmaster Shiny Colors. So before I start, some disclaimers, spoiler alerts, I'll be talking about everything that happens in this series. Although there are no plot twists, I will be explaining everything that happens truly in broad strokes in this whole entry of the series. Outside of that, let's get to the stats. So, as I talked in last episode, Shiny Colors is the latest of the main entries in Idolmaster, and the first season was from April 2024 to June 2024, and now the second season started in October 2024 and ended in December 2024. So it's rather recent, and from what I know, the OVA just came out, something like that, at the time of recording. I have not watched it, and I have been informed that it does not have any of the girls that actually appear in the anime, and a lot of the girls that appear are actually the girls from the game that don't appear in the anime itself, so it may be a bit confusing for some people because it's only one episode from what I gather. That being said, let's get to the story. So, pretty basic stuff here. Shiny Colors is season 2 is divided basically into two parts. The first part is basically the introduction, the first 6 episodes, and then the last 6 episodes are basically the wrapping up of some things and retouching some plot points and actually diving into some characters that may have not been explored in the first season or either in this one. So, just for a really quick breakdown, this review is going to be pretty short because at the end of the day I don't have many things to talk about this anime itself, though I have to actually give kudos for the studio Polygon Pictures because it was way better than the first one, and I didn't actually think that it would be the case, but after watching it I actually got this really nice feeling that this was almost everything that I was asking for, although they can't all be winners, so some things is still lost on the wayside, but still. So back to the story. We start the second season right after the girls had their first live, and so for that reason the girls now are rather famous. It's more or less the same setup that we have in most of the Idolmaster series, so the OG and Cinderella Girls had something like that. U149, I don't think they had that kind of thing, but U149 is more or less an outlier, and I will not be talking about Million Live because after watching this I have determined that Million Live is, strictly speaking, the worst of the main entries of the Idolmaster series. We don't talk about Xenoglossia because Xenoglossia doesn't count, but either way, I'll not be discussing here why Million Live is so much worse because you have to actually watch the anime to actually like it. That's my personal opinion, but still, there's that. So the girls get a bit famous, and now each of them in a solo manner are more or less working their own jobs, so each of them have their auctions, their projects, their ambitions, and for the most part, one of the main messages, main ideas of this season, of this anime at the end of the day, is individual desires and aspirations. Not so much that it is to say that the girls want to disband the units, for example, but the fact that each of the girls actually have a different perspective in life, and for such them together build up something different. So it's more or less the old adage of the combination is greater than the sum of its parts, more or less. I think that's how the saying goes. Anyways, so basically we have each of the girls working their own thing, but at the same time, the beginning of the season, all of the girls are more or less living and interacting together, which is, for me at the very least, a really nice touch. It was something that the first season got, I think, wrong at the beginning, because at the beginning we had all the girls in each of their units really siloed and really separated, and although the girls interact well within themselves, within their units, it is not the essence of Idolmaster, the thing that Idolmaster brings me that I like when all the girls are together and doing their stuff together, and because that's the moment where everything like clicks together, the funny bits, the cute bits, and the wholesome stuff. And in a way, this really glows up at the beginning, because all the girls are really together and they work in different situations, different projects, and it's really funny to watch them because it's really wholesome. And this is a point that I will maybe come back more, but I think that the one thing that they got really right in this season is to make the girls extra cute. And it's not really in the way that it's cute because it's cute, but it is so wholesome and heartwarming the way they do stuff and how they interact with each other, that, and the situations also, that it really gets me. And I just thought, this is so comfy to watch. Like, oh my god, man, I was expecting this. This is the thing that I'm looking for when watching Idolmaster. This is the cutesy, wholesome stuff. This is what keeps my soul running. Like, this is the thing. That's the essence right there. And for the most part, that's the like 90% of why this whole thing works. But talking about the story for real for a bit, we have at the very start introduction of the new kids on the block, the new 3-girl unit, Straylight, composed by Asahi, Fuyoko, and Mei. And I'll actually get into a tangent here. I have commented on this in the last episode, but basically the only girl I knew from Shiny Colors before watching this anime was Mei, because of some things, and I am pretty biased towards her because she's an outright cool gyaru in an anime, so I have a thing for gyarus. Don't at me. And the thing is, when they introduce her, I was like, holy shit, that's it. And the way that they introduce Straylight in this anime, I have to actually give a lot of credit here, because how do I say that? Bro, it fucking slapped. Like, here are two things, right? So first off, the song they present Straylight is called Wandering Dream Chaser, and oh my god, I can't like describe it in words, but the way they present it, oh my god, man, that was the best insert song for the second episode. I don't actually remember. I could have asked for. It is so good. And the way that they do it, it is, oh my god, it's so nice. And so much so, right, that the whole thing kind of clicks together. And going back to the thing, I think the costumes they use, Straylight themselves, the design just speaks to me. The neon colors and stuff, the whole thing, it's something else. It's really something like really nice. And for the most part, it's basically the presentation that they give at the start. It is so incredible. And then after that, we get to actually meet each of the girls. Asahi is a bit too much direct with people, and though she's not like bad with people, but she presents for the most part like to Mano, because Mano is the protagonist still, the question that it is brought in the season, that is, what kind of idol do you want to be? And this is a question that permeates the rest of the whole season, because, well, it's the thing that basically is the question that moves everything. I want to say that much like Cinderella Girls' Power of Smile, Egao no Chikara, what kind of idol do you want to be? I think it's the question, the phrase that actually moves this, not only this series, but actually this season. I think this season actually made me rethink a bit of my review of the first season, because it brought some things to light for me. It becomes really, let's say, a bit more concise when you think what they do by the end of the anime. And for the most part, it really like reconfigures the way that I think about this whole series, because, and here's the thing, right? So we have this really strong introduction at the beginning of Stray Light, then there's the girls of Stray Light themselves. Asahi I like a lot. She's really direct and really like, she's really different in that way. It's really funny the way that she acts. And then there's Mei, that I am biased towards, and oh my god, I love her. I really think that she more or less carries some parts, although I know that objective that's wrong, but I still love her. That's on me. I don't actually like Fuyuko a lot, and that's twofold, because I think that the gimmick that she brings at the very start is really annoying at some point. I really thought that if they don't like break this now, this eventually will become a plot point later, because not all the girls are really naive in that way to actually fall for her, and for the most part Asahi sees right through her from the very start, or at the very least gives the impression of. And for the most part, because she has, for those that did not watch the anime, but still, she has that gimmick that she acts one way with outside people, and then the more like close people she acts totally different and really like badly mannered, let's say bad, something like that. And for the most part, she reminds me a lot in her, let's say, casual design, her normal design reminds me a lot of a Twitter manga that I read, that is the kind of girl that you shouldn't date. It's something like that, the name of the manga. I have already like mentioned this before in the podcast, but I don't actually have the link right now for it. But either way, her looks remind me a lot of that manga, and this gimmick is basically the same, so it really annoys me in that way, but at the same time she's really nice as a character itself. And also later on she becomes a bit more palatable, a bit more amicable, so it's not that bad. And outside of that, I just let Stray Light by the way that they are introduced. And besides that, we have other girls already like interacting with each other and doing their stuff. That then culminates on episode 4 with the Halloween live special, which is an event that they do where all the girls are basically shuffled around and they actually get to sing with girls outside of their units. So for example, the best song of, at the release, in my opinion, of the whole episode is Midnight Parade, which is basically 5 girls that each basically from a different unit. So there's Mei, Rinse, Mamimi, Sakuya, and Tenka. And that's basically one of the best songs of the whole season. And it's not even a real unit, and they just deliver it so well. Not only that, but also I think that the visuals that they deliver in this song specifically are really nice. So it's really something that the beginning of this season's really, really nice. Then on episode 5 we have a really harsh cut to basically introduce another unit that is Noctu. I don't actually know how would pronounce that, but Noctu. That is a unit of 4 people: Toru, Madoka, Hinana, and Koito. And basically they all are childhood friends. For sake of explanation, Koito is the one that struggles the most, but she's hardworking. Madoka is basically the one that doesn't actually talk. Toru, the deal with Toru becomes clearer later, so I will not really touch on her right now. And for the most part, Hinana doesn't actually have any, if at all, development. Her lines are really, really counted down to the words, and I don't like her like speech vice. Would say that her mannerisms are not really nice. It's not great. It's not great. So that's on me. But anyways, the thing is, so episode 5 we have the introduction of Noctu. I don't actually like the episode on Noctu specifically because it loses me in the fact that how can I explain that? So I know this is not the point, and I know that the whole like thing is not about these specifically, but the way that they deal with the conflict of the episode, the girls at the very least, really pushes me out of the anime and back to reality. Because if I was the guy working at the studio that goes through that they do with them, I would be really pissed. And by and large, it is a problem. It's something that you shouldn't do. And they actually get like, they don't actually get much punishment for it, because this is a idol master anime. It doesn't really take itself too seriously, but at the same time, it's one episode that really takes me out of the fantasy of the idols and brings me back to reality, because I think that the way that they deal with it's not really that great. And I would say that most of the people that actually work a day job and watch that may not like it as much. I would find it really hard to actually incentivize something like that, cheer them on to do something like that, because I think it's a real lack of professionalism. And I will not really expand on this here, but easy to say that they don't do the best of jobs in that episode. But anyways, I know the reason and I understand it, but as a working adult, I don't like it. Besides that, so we have then episode 6 where Noctetsu is actually introduced to all the girls, and then back in episode 4 we had the news that all the girls are going to be releasing an album with all the units, and also they have the first national tour, so all the units are going to tour through Japan. And then the next 6 episodes is basically the build up for it, so the girls are basically tasked with each of the units coming up with the lyrics for a new song. And besides that, the fact that the girls get even busier, even more lonely, and from the 7th episode to the 11th, every single one of the episodes basically goes through one case in each of the units, where as one of the girls is a bit more explored, a bit more, let's say, deeply explained in some kind of anxiety that they have, some kind of feeling, some kind of harsh feeling that they have towards this fact that either they feel lonely, they feel excited towards the future, they feel like they are not actually delivering as much as the other girls, they actually worry so much about the other girls that they themselves want to sacrifice for something, and everything kind of falls into that formula. So one of the episodes is about Antika and how Sakuya feels that if it is for the betterment of each of the girls in the group, she would rather disband Antika so the girls could focus on their solo careers, although it ends up with a whole lot of crying by the end, and I cried a lot in there too, either way, because they all come together at the end and say we want this band because this is our home, and so on and so forth. There's one episode where we go through Hokago and how Chiyoko being an integral part of the group, although she doesn't actually originally had the intention to become an idol, she became an idol because of her friends and so on and so forth, and how that her carrying that desire of a friend, she wants to deliver it all, and so on and so forth. Then we have one that really lost me by the middle stages, where it's about Austromedia and how Chiyuki-san wants to actually appear in a magazine that she liked a lot for a long time, and actually Amana is basically rigged into an audition because of outside factors. They don't actually rig it for her, but the client itself rigs it for her to appear as the cover girl, and the whole thing kind of becomes a whole thing about jealousy and desires to each other's success and don't bring anyone down. And it is really nice, it's really cute, really wholesome. It also ends with a whole lot of crying, and me being weak as I am, I cried a lot too. Even though the premise is really dumb, I don't know, man. I just lose it. And then we have, even though it is the season that they get introduced, we have another one of this episode where we have a better focus on Mei from Stray Light and how she perceives herself and the individual idea of how she wants to present herself to the public and how the public perceives her now. It's a bit confusing, I would say, because we have so little time with them in live presentations and being confronted with the public, but the gist of it is that they build up a whole persona for her inside in the stage, and outside of the stage, whenever she's with the other girls and stuff, she's really different from the persona that they built for her, and she doesn't want to actually break that kind of illusion because it would bring trouble to the image of the unit and so on and so forth. And the whole episode is basically one moment when a fan records her outside of the stage when she's basically being herself, and the whole thing kind of spirals out like that, but they end up like making amends with the fact that she wants to present herself as she is, and so the whole thing kind of blows over and nothing really happens. It's a really cute episode. I really love. Oh my god, I love me. Now that I said that, I have to just give a bit of context. I still love Kogane a lot, and Sakuya, and Mamami. I love Lentica a lot, and it may be on me that, but still. And then we have kind of a joint episode by the end. I think it's the 11th episode. That is the episode about Noctu and Illumination Stars. That basically is the closing of the whole arc that they do for the whole anime of Mano, and the let's say the better understanding of Toru. And just to touch really quickly on Mano, because Mano, throughout the whole anime, the 2 seasons, although the first season you could say that it doesn't actually help, that doesn't actually happen that much, but it is visible that they build a whole arc for her where she she becomes more open with herself. She learns how to express herself and be herself in front of others and not being shy, and like overcoming this fear of something new, let's say. And this is the whole arc that she goes through, and towards the end of the anime it becomes clearer the way that they do it. It is really cute in that way. I think that Mano's arc is really well done, and for a protagonist in an Idolmaster anime, I would say it's the first time that a protagonist actually had a decent arc in a very long time. I mean, a very long time is a bit of an exaggeration, because I think Arisu in U149 was actually a decent arc, and for the most part the last one before that was actually great was Cinderella Girls, because again, and this is one of the points that makes me say that Million Life doesn't actually fit too much with my own tastes, and I think that it is the worst entry in the series. That Million Life, after some really deep analysis, the only character that actually has a character development arc in Million Life is Shizuka, and Mirai, for example, doesn't actually have an arc whatsoever. But that's besides the point. The thing is, Mano has a whole arc throughout the whole anime, throughout the whole 2 seasons, and the episode 11 is basically the closure for that. And in conjunction with that, we have a better, somewhat deeper explanation on Toru from Noctu. It is really weird, the episode, and I will say that this is just a theory I have. It's basically conjecture with everything that I have seen, and I can actually extrapolate from what I see, because I think that for the most part they commit too much with the show not tell bit, but they show a lot and don't tell enough, because Toru doesn't actually express herself too much, and even when she does, it is really cryptic, so it becomes kind of really weird in that way, that they do a whole episode around her, but herself is not really that great for explanations, let's say, because what comes out to me at the least, and this is the way that I will explain the last episode of of Idolmaster Shiny Colors, is Toru is basically a genius when it comes to being an idol, and she finds every part of the work really easy, and she's really beautiful, she's really good whatever she does, and she finds it really easy. So she does not have the same thrill that the girls have of actually finding challenges and facing them head on and evolving from that. She finds it all too easy and doesn't see the thrill, doesn't feel the motivation to actually do any of it. And whenever she interacts with Mano, there is this, I will not say conflict, but there is this juxtaposition where Mano is overwhelmed by the idol world, let's say, and Toru in the opposite end, she's underwhelmed because she finds it all too easy. And when it comes to then the 12th episode, where the end of the 11th and beginning of the 12th episode, where they actually start the live tour with all the girls, when Toru actually gets to present in a live stage with all the lights, everyone together doing their best and so on and so forth, that is the moment that she's alive, that she finds the thrill, and that's the moment where Toru sees why she chose to be an idol. And this is really conjecture. I may be speaking out of my ass here, but that's the feeling that I get, and by the things that they talk about. And for the most part, and this is a side note for Toru specifically, I don't know if that's true. I could not check it if I wanted, and for the most part I don't actually care that much, but let's just say that I think they specifically hired someone else to do Toru's design, because Toru's design is really different from the other girls. I think Madoka basically fits with her because it is the closest friend that she has, but the thing is, Toru is so beautiful in terms of the character's design, and it's really weird in that way because she's really, really beautiful, and she carries the whole thing without really shocking anything, and it feels like she's more or less of a genius every time, because she talks so little when it still does so much for the other girls in Nocturne. So it kind of feels like that. She's really special in that way. And basically the 12th episode is the ending of the series, where they have, I think, 2 or 3 insert songs, and then all the girls get together to sing the end of the series with the opening. It's really cute, really wholesome, really well done in that way, and I think that it gives oh my god. Quick tangent. Every time I talk about Idolmaster, the 2 things that I always say that are the pillars that everything else is judged by me is the OG and Cinderella Girls. And I am certain, in my subjective opinion, that there won't be something so good as the OG, because the OG had its own sauce, you know, its own personality that it held together. And each of the Idolmasters, they kind of have their own sauce, but their sauce is weaker, let's say. But the thing that really catches me is that Cinderella Girls, I know for a fact that it's not better than the OG, but for me at the release, it's way, way nicer, because I just feel like the aesthetic was more appealing. The thing is, I remember back when I did the original review for Cinderella Girls, that I specifically said that the ending is terrible because they start to actually play the opening. It feels really heavily emotionally charged, and still they just do the chorus and then it ends. The whole episode ends, and the girls don't actually sing. It's just like a montage with a photo. And I remember that I said I hate that this ending is like this because the girls don't actually sing the ending. And I think that in a weird twist of destiny, something like that, I don't know if I'm the only one who got this kind of feedback to give, but it feels like the ending of this was specially made for me, because at the end of the episode, when the opening is playing and you get the memo that this is the end of the anime, the girls are there singing, and it is the song, like actually the song, and that is still emotionally charged. It's the same thing, but it feels like they corrected it. They actually got the feedback and said, yeah, we need to actually get the girls to sing the last song because it is anticlimactic. But it is a tangent, right? So the girls sing their final song and then the anime ends. There's the OVA. I have not watched the OVA. If you want to go find it, go watch it. Outside of that, I don't know what else there will be of Idolmaster for the foreseeable future. I know it's being right now 2025. It is the 20th anniversary of the franchise, so I'm hoping that they do something really special. I don't know if it will be a concert. I don't know if will be a new anime. I don't know if they will actually, like, I don't know, release Cinderella Girls worldwide. I am hopeful. I don't know. I don't play rhythm games all that well, if anything, so it's not that I would play it, but still. But the thing is, right, at the end of the day, what did I think about Shiny Colors? I think that the first season was somewhat sloppy, really had a lot of problems, though they were not like game breaking or immersion breaking, whatever. They were okay. The first season was okay. This second season, I think, was major pickup, like really nice. The introductions were great. The style was great. Again, I think that the two new units basically blew it out of the water, like really nice. Not really on songs for the most part. Noctu song, I don't actually remember the name, isn't really for me, but even then their work was really nice. I really like Toto's design, for that matter. Stray Light, I think, was a really great addition. I think their presentation was, and oh my god, it was really nice. I don't actually have words for it. I think that Dream Chases was a really nice song to introduce them by. The whole thing, the styling, the costume design, the whole thing, really, really great. I think that the girls interacting more with each other was a major glow up. I wish that they did it towards the end too, but they chose not to. I am pissed, and I think it's BS that Antica didn't have an insert song. Actually, we do have this song at the end of the episode, but it's not really inserts, just the ending. And for the most part, that's basically it. Like, one thing that I still need to actually like mention. So the opening for this anime is a single opening, right? They don't actually change the song whenever. But as the girls get introduced, I'm talking basically about Noctu, because Noctu actually changes the dynamic. They actually do change the visuals for the opening, which is really cute. It's kind of goofy the way they do it, because they basically sped up everything, but it's a nice touch that they added them to the opening and didn't actually leave them out, because they could, but they didn't. And I think that is at the very least commendable. I think that it is not a wasted effort. I think that it is a detail that is something that we should praise them for, because at the end of the day, I know that they are just introducing like more visuals, but come on. Someone took their time to actually animate that. And for the most part, this anime is okay. I think, again, the first season was not that great. The second season, I think, was way cuter, way nicer. A whole lot of, oh my god, I wish the first season was like the second one. The second one had so much better moments, so much better interaction, so a whole lot of things that really brought it up for me. And basically, just nice. And here's the thing, right? So towards the end, after in the second half of the season, when they actually start to like delve into some of the girls of each unit and actually bring out these more complex kind of feelings and stuff, I really wish that we had this for each of the girls, because at the end of the day we end up with 23 girls, and by and large, if we had the time and introduced them from the beginning, we could have had something akin to the OG and Cinderella Girls, where each of the girls is explored in one episode, which would be, in my opinion, a way better way to do stuff. It feels like they wasted a lot of the girls in that. Most of the girls in Hokago are thrown to the wayside, so basically the first episode we had of Hokago in the first season was more or less just Kaho and her superhero obsession, and then the second episode by the end is basically just Chiyoko, and for the most part that doesn't actually give me a lot of things to work with, because we have 5 people and then only 2 are explored, because Rinse, Juri, and Natsuha, who I basically prefer in that unit, don't actually get any of the spotlight. Same thing with Lantika, so we have an episode especially for Sakuya, but not for Mamimi, not for Kiriko, not for Yuika. Yuika kind of have a big part in the episode, but still. And especially not for Kogane, which I really wanted to know what the fuck's that dialect, that accent that she has. God damn it, I can't understand what the hell she's saying, but still love her. Oh my god. And same thing for Illumination Stars. Meguru doesn't actually have any development whatsoever. I found that really jarring. I think Stray Light was the only unit that actually had every single girl kind of a bit delved into. Austromedia, I would say that they also covered most of their bases. And for Noctsteel, I would say that Madoka and Hinana were left to the side, where Koito and Toru actually had their moment in the light, but still. And for the most part, that's basically the anime is great in a way. The songs are really nice, the most of them, and I think that I wouldn't be mad to have a third season if it ever came to it. Though again, I wish that we go back to 2D, maybe in the next entry, who knows. And with that said, thank you guys for listening, thank you guys for watching. Please like, please share, please follow, depending on the platform you're in, and I hope you guys stick around for next time. Bye.